It is the 5th of January 2025, guys, and we're looking at the US. We've jumped over the pond. We've got two big snowstorms, one over the UK and one over the US developing. So we're going to look at both, but focus on the US. And this is just in general, it's going to be like a big band of heavy snow. Actually, I think it's over DC, right? And then freezing rain as well on the southern side is really predicted to be a major problem with icing. And on top of all that, there's going to be a line of severe thunderstorms to the south as moisture comes up from the Gulf. The root of the problem with this storm is a mid-level low pressure area, cold core low. And this is seen in the water vapor product here, which gives us an indication of the movement of the air in the upper to middle troposphere. And this is actually a dry slot in mid to upper troposphere. And so you can see this thing kind of rotating around. And what this is like a pocket of really cold air, which allows the air to destabilize, amongst other things. And then off on this side, we see a lot of deep convection, moisture, and some snow in there. First of all, I have to explain about the times being shown here. Down in the bottom left, I'm in Australia, so it's defaulting to Australia time, but just to the right is the time in Z or UTC. So for central time, for the central time zone for the US, that is UTC -6. So you have to take, that's actually 3 a.m. on Sunday. So you take off 6 from that. And for Eastern time, because this storm is going to be affecting at least two time zones, and that is -5. So that would be then 4 a.m. Got all that? Great. It's confusing. But anyway, so here I'm showing the winds at 600 hectopascal pressure. This is about 4,200 meters, according to Windy over here. And this shows that low pressure upper trough and cutoff low that we saw in the satellite imagery. Now I'm going to move this forward because this shows these are really strong winds here. Actually, I'll just show what that is. So if I click in there, 67 knots, so hurricane force winds at that level sustained at 4,200 meters. As we move forward, I think these winds actually strengthen a bit. Let me just get on that a bit. Here we go. So this trough is gonna, and cutoff low is gonna dip down, and you see those winds coming through over Arkansas and through into Mississippi, stretching up across Tennessee. And the winds have strengthened. They're now at these levels 83 knots. So very strong. And this is what's going to drive those severe thunderstorms. So there's instability coming in off the Gulf, and then that's going to, as the thunderstorms develop, it's going to move up into that really fast moving air and develop some spin and potential tornadoes. So let's go down to the surface. These are the surface winds from the European Center model, and this is for 20 UTC on Sunday. It says Monday because in Australia it's already in Monday at this time, but this is actually the previous day. So we then take off another 6 hours to get to Central Time, and we're down to 1400 UTC on Sunday. What is that? That is Sunday afternoon. This is the big day for the severe thunderstorms. And so, yeah, now that we've gone through all of that, you can see the winds coming up from the south off the Gulf of Mexico. And the Gulf of Mexico is warm and moist, and that's dragging in a lot of energy that is going to be fueling in those thunderstorms, which are going to be along here. In fact, if I switch over to thunderstorms, we should see, oh wow, okay. Actually took me by shock a little bit. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got absolute massive thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, and then up to the north you can see all the snow, and then this is the freezing rain in here. So yeah, a very dramatic event. As a result of these key factors, the Storm Prediction Center have issued an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms, and the main threats being wind and the potential for tornadoes as well. The strong ascent of that moisture into those strong mid-level winds is going to lead to a rotation of these thunderstorms, and that's leading to the tornado threat. The storms move through, we're looking at the afternoon and evening of Sunday today. They move quite quickly from Oklahoma, spreading out from Arkansas into the far southeast of Texas, Louisiana, and into Mississippi and Tennessee, and Alabama. Okay, let's focus on the wintry side of things, and you can see all of that snow, currently a huge swath of moderate to light snow stretching up all the way to the Dakotas and down towards just entering Kentucky. So let's move forward and see how this progresses through in the European Center model. Let's first of all actually be able to move this. Here we go. All right. So this is now looking at Sunday afternoon, and so you have this heavy snow band stretching through a whole series of states. Wow. So Kansas to southern Iowa, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, into West Virginia, North Carolina. And then this band of freezing rain is all of this area with the kind of exclamation mark type symbols. And I believe that the National Weather Service are suggesting that this could be really like up to half an inch of ice in certain areas which get the absolute worst. And this has the potential to bring down large tree branches and power lines, so the potential for power outages is there, as well as incredibly dangerous driving conditions. So let's look at how this sweeps through, and then we'll look at the totals. So now, as we enter the early hours of the morning of Monday, and we're now going to focus on Eastern time as the system actually produces even heavier snowfall into West Virginia. And then we're heading into where it's impacting Washington, D.C. And it pours in over Washington, D.C. And then the snow values go down a bit. So let's look at the snowfall totals from the European Center model. I'm going to drag this forward into Monday and then into Tuesday. And so this is going through to Tuesday, and then that's pretty much this event. So we can look at these totals. We're into the greens and light greens. So a real band of 20 to 30 centimeters of snow, potentially higher over mountains, of course. I will check the high resolution model now and see what that says. I've got the HRRR. I don't think it gives us snow depth on this on Windy. That's a shame. But we can check the GFS, which is even coarser resolution, but it has similar values. Look like it's getting a bit higher into the 30 to 40 centimeters in southern Iowa and Illinois. So yeah, a really east to west oriented snow band, and then that really dangerous extensive area of freezing rain on the southern flank. So on to our second snowstorm, which is over the UK. All of this down towards the south is now rain, but snow did occur even in West London. I think during the night there was snow falling and more snow settled, but this is now further to the north and central England. Quite widespread snow of small amounts, and a lot of this is actually melting. But up in the north, this is snowfall over the interior, and this is going to continue to accumulate over the higher hills and mountains of northern England and southern Scotland. And now the cool thing is we can actually check out some of the webcams to see some of these snowy scenes. What have we got up here? Yep, snow there. If you go back then to yesterday, it should be clear. Yeah, there we go. So where else? Well, Ireland was another area that was due for snow, and it looks like they have got it. And I know that somebody posted on our Facebook page that West Limerick did get some snow, and it was quite driving snow. So yeah, the snow arrived in Ireland, probably very heavy over the mountains, and then up in the north of England looks like it's arrived, and actually even further south the snow cover is still remaining over Alcaston. Looking ahead, as we've said in about 4 videos now, the snow continuing over northern England in the mountains, and then looks like rain over most of the lower areas. That snow seems to continue on the back edge of this system in Ireland, according to the European Centre model, so they may get some accumulations there. The north of England then is continuing to snow over the hills, and then the system turns round, we get the turn round to the north, the temperatures start dropping again, and wherever that snow has managed to hang on, that's just going to freeze in and lock in once we get down to near freezing temperatures, particularly in North England. So the snow then is going to stick around, and we've said this in previous videos, so I'm not going to go into it again, but yeah, that snow really seems to linger for a long time in the northern interior of England and southern Scotland. After this, the system continues its journey towards the east, bumping up against more cold air over Scandinavia and producing very heavy snow, by the looks of things, over Oslo, where at this point it's -4. And then there we go, some really heavy snowfall moving into those areas, which are likely to be much better able to cope with such snowfall than the UK. For us here down under in Melbourne, things got super hot today. It got up to, looks like above 37. The prediction was 38. Maybe it got there briefly. And I went out for a bike ride. On the way back, I saw some smoke in the distance, so I threw up my drone, and this is what it saw. A little bit of a fire out towards the west somewhere. I haven't figured out where. And then you also see these turbulent clouds as the cold change moves in. And the cold change has now moved in across Melbourne, so the temperatures are down to 26.9. Tomorrow they're only going to be peaking at 21. Pretty cool compared to the last few days. So that's it from me. I wish you can wrap up warm if you're in these areas getting affected, and be extremely careful while driving if you're in these iced up areas, both in the UK and in the US. Thanks very much. See you later.